Well, we're talking role models today with someone who I really respect as a role model, actually. The wonderful Tanya Unkovich joins me by phone. Hey, thanks for being a part of the show, and thanks for talking about something that I reckon is pretty important.
It is very important. It is very important. It's such a big thing to actually have someone to look up to, isn't it? During times when you need a little bit of a lift or a bit of belief that actually something is possible. It's good to always look at someone else who has achieved what you want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes, we can, perhaps look at a person and go, well, they weren't perfect, so maybe they're not the perfect role model. But we don't need a perfect role model, do we?
Well, what is perfect anyway, and look at so many of the people who have done so incredibly well in life. They had to go through a lot of adversity in order to be able to reach where they have reached. They just were that determined, to prove everything wrong or everyone wrong around them. So a little shove in life is always good.
Yeah.
It makes you strive even higher.
So how would you suggest if someone is like, well, I kind of just need some inspiration in my life, maybe someone to look up to. Do you go to books? Do you go to history? I mean, what are your thoughts on this one, Tanya?
Well, the first thing I invite people to do is take a look in the mirror and take a look at yourself, because so often we have already achieved or done great things already in our life or reached a high standard. We've done something that we are proud of, but we just forget. And we then start beating ourselves up for all these other things that have happened since or that are happening now. But we actually forget that we have been winning already in our life. So that's what I invite people to do. Go back and remember those times when you felt fulfilled, when you felt accomplished, when you felt whole, complete, worthy. Okay, so start there, definitely.
Yeah. Because that's really important, isn't it? You're looking at your own worth in that respect.
100%, 100%. Now, a lot of people will respond by saying, oh, but, that's different. I'm not like that, or I've never been there or done that. And they'll immediately go to the negative, and that's okay. So that's where I say, okay, who else is there around you that you look up to for a bit of inspiration? It might be a family member. It may be, someone on television or an author even, or anyone. Is there anyone around you who inspires you in some way? And, it doesn't mean to say that you love everything about that person. It may just be one thing, So look at that one thing that you admire them for. Take that. Look at someone else and take something from that other person that you admire. The thing is to see around you that it is possible, to see that accomplishing, achieving is possible, even if you can't see it in yourself yet.
So if you go from there, from perhaps looking at yourself and maybe you're not feeling particularly great about yourself, but then you can see traits in others that you really love, can you take it a step further then in saying, okay, well, I'd like to replicate that. That's, something that I would like to do in my life, and then go from there, just being inspired by that person.
Oh, absolutely. And the great thing you can do now is you can go to Google, right?
Yeah.
You can go online and how did this lady achieve that? Or how did that man do that? And you can always find some of the steps, some of the strategies that they did. So that's actually a great thing to do, is to do that. It's also always really good to read people's biographies or just snippets of their life, to not only see that, they've probably overcome adversity, but to just see how they are now thriving in their life, and they've gone from perhaps the place of suffering to now feeling fulfilled and joyful, or maybe they've met a love in their life and they never thought they would again. Maybe they've changed their health around. Maybe they've gone from being bankrupt to now having their own home, So be inspired that way to see that actually it can be done. If others have done it, there's no reason why you can't as well.
Certainly. I mean, Tanya, do you have role models in your life that you've sort of gone, you know what? that person has done that. I'm so inspired by it. I'd like to start doing that too.
Do you know what? I've got a little bit of a giggle because you asked me that question. I don't know if you remember quite a few months ago, and I immediately went, actually, me. I responded. We were doing an interview.
And how funny!
Yeah. Look, I've never really had big role models, but I always had this belief that actually you can just do anything, just try it, and maybe that comes from having parents who are incredibly resilient, because I've seen that. So I would probably say actually my parents, indirectly have been role models because I've seen them come through so much hardship and adversity. I've always had this belief that actually you just pick yourself up and you carry on and you do it, But I've read a lot of biographies. I read a lot of other people's lives, and I suppose that is one way that they are my role models. I just read about how people have overcome adversity and how they've gone into greatness in their life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Reading biographies, I think, is a great way. And I think choosing well. Can I just say that? Yes. Because there are times in your life where perhaps you're really struggling, and then to read about someone else who has really struggled and then didn't overcome, maybe that's not the best book for reading.
Yeah.
Choosing those stories where people have perhaps leaned in on God and made some good choices. And I think those are some really good ones to get settled into.
And there are many out there. There are so many, and you've got access to everything online as well, haven't you? Now, just to even read a few paragraphs on how someone has gone from suffering to joy, or from grief to greatness, or whatever that is.
It's an important thing, isn't it, to surround ourselves with great stories, with inspirational people, and sometimes there are easier times to do it than other times, but. Yeah, it does actually buoy us to perhaps want to do bigger things, right? Choose
your tribe wisely, I often say, and who you spend time with, you become. So always make sure that your inner circle, or even your wider circle, are people around you who inspire you. They encourage you to be better. Jim Rohn had a great quote. You are the average of the top 5 people that you spend time with in your life. So, always keep the caliber, quality of people around you really high, because that is going to inspire you to be better. It is a bit like, when we're growing up, if you hang out with not so great friends, you end up doing silly things, right? And I suppose as we get older, be around people who are really, really going to drive you and encourage you as well.
I think having encouragers as friends is just fantastic. And then maybe even going, you know what, I could be that person too. Let me be an encourager to other people too, so that they too want me to be part of their tribe. Hey, Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I think this is a cool topic, and, I just love delving into these different things with you. If people do want to check out what you do, you've got so much going on at the moment. How do they do so?
Look, anywhere on social media. I put all of my interviews from Rima on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and listen to a lot of those. Of course, my website, tanyaunkovich.com.
Lovely. Hey, have a wonderful rest of your Friday.
Thank you. You too.